something I have to ask you. Holy mashed potatoes.
Yo, what the fuck is up, Smoking Baked? Hell yeah! What is up, homie? Thank you for coming to see me on YouTube. I've been banished. Banished from the Twitch. I'm trying to appeal that shit, but goddamn, it's something else. Ah shit, what the fuck? I can still hear that. There we go. Yeah. Dun. Alright. Fuck yeah, baby! These chuds ain't gonna fucking stop my ass, dude. Fuck the chuds. Fuck the chuds. Fuck the chuds. Looked at Discord first, started whipping up breakfast. Gonna hit a stream match! Yeah! Stream match, baby! I just smoked. So I'm already good. I'm good to go. I'm a little bit ahead of you. Oh shit. Wait, I don't have my shit ready. Dude, yeah. I'm already like... Yeah, I made it from the appointment. Unscathed, yeah, and I had to go to the pharmacy and pick up my script and shit, and they didn't have it ready. So when I talked to you in Discord, I was sitting waiting for my fucking. It took like a half hour to fucking get it or whatever. So I was just sitting. That's why it took me so long to fucking come back on. I was sitting there, dude. I was about to get up and start being a Karen and shit. Hey, what the fuck you got, dude? Motherfucker. Nah, I wasn't gonna do that. I was thinking about it in my head, like as a joke. Fucking start acting like a Karen. I think I've just been watching way too many Karen videos lately. Way too many Karen videos. Way too many Karens. Oh, yeah. So, here we are again. I'm going to do a little stream before work. Let's start it out with fucking the wonderful Amy G.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
There we go.
Democratic Senators Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin have rejected a plan by their party's leaders to change Senate rules to allow passage of two major voting rights bills.
Yeah, we made fun of this morning where she was fucking... There's a video of her 10 years ago talking shit about what she's doing right now. So she's just like basically... She just sucks. Even when they have it ready. Yeah, it was super fucking busy today too. There was like non-stop people. That's why I was just like, wow, just looks like it's going to be a while.
Speaking from the Senate floor Thursday, Senator Sinema said she would not vote to change the filibuster, even as she claimed to support the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act.
What a fucking asshole, dude. Seriously.
There's no need for me to restate my
long-standing
support for the 60-vote threshold to pass legislation.
Oh, really?
There's no
then why are you gonna not
need for me to
vote for it?
restate its role protecting our country from wild reversals in federal policy.
Sinema was joined later on Thursday by West Virginia's Joe Manchin, who said he too would oppose a change in the filibuster.
Oh my God.
Their opposition all but dooms the prospect of the 117th Congress will pass voting rights legislation. President Biden reacted to the news.
Son of a bitch.
I hope we can get this done. The honest to God answer is I don't know whether we can get this done.
Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said the Senate will delay a scheduled January recess to take up voting rights legislation Tuesday, one day after the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday.
Tuesday? Oh shit!
The Supreme Court has struck down.
Yo, we should watch that live. If I'm around Tuesday, I should
on
be.
the Biden administration's requirement that workers at large private companies get vaccinated against COVID-19 or be tested weekly. The court's conservative majority ruled the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, overstepped its authority when it ordered the mandate affecting some 84 million private sector workers. In a dissenting opinion, Justices Breyer, Kagan, and Sotomayor wrote, quote, "Today we are not wise. In the face of a still raging pandemic, this court tells the agency charged with protecting worker safety that it may not do so in all the workplaces needed," they wrote.
Yeah, way to go, Supreme Court. Fucking COVID wins, I guess. That's a win for COVID and a loss for America. Thanks a lot, you fucking dicks.
In a separate 5-4 decision, justices upheld a vaccination requirement for Medicare and Medicaid providers covering about 10 million healthcare workers nationwide. As the winter COVID surge continues to worsen, President Biden said he would make another 500 million rapid antigen tests available for free to U.S. households. The White House had already announced the purchase of 500 million tests in December.
What?
But those kits have not yet been distributed. Here in New York City, Mayor Eric Adams said Thursday he's discussing plans for a temporary remote learning option with the United Federation of Teachers. Adams had vowed to keep classrooms open when he was sworn in just 2 weeks ago, but up to a third of students in the nation's largest school district have been absent from classrooms this week. The FBI arrested the leader of the far-right Oath Keepers militia Thursday, charging him and 10 others with seditious conspiracy over the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol.
That's him with the eye patch and shit.
Say 56-year-old Stuart Rhodes organized a plot to oppose the lawful transfer of presidential power by force. They charge Oath Keepers under Rhodes' command spread out in a military formation inside the Capitol looking for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, while a heavily armed quick reaction force stood by at a hotel just outside Washington, ready to take action.
Yeah, take action? What the fuck were they going to do?
Rhodes to other militia members read in part, quote, "We aren't getting through this without a civil war. Prepare your mind, body, spirit. It will be a bloody and desperate fight."
What the
Rhodes is a
fuck?
U.S. Army paratrooper.
God damn. We aren't getting through this without a civil war. Prepare your mind, body, spirit. It'll be a bloody and desperate fight. Holy fucking shit. Yeah.
House committee investigating the January 6th riot has subpoenaed officials at 4 social media companies, YouTube, Facebook, and Reddit, and Twitter, saying they contributed to the spread of misinformation that led to the insurrection.
They definitely did.
The Republican National Committee is threatening to prevent future candidates from participating in presidential debates, accusing the commission, which oversees the process, of bias. Jamie Harrison, chair of the Democratic National Committee, tweeted in response, quote, "Republicans can't win a fair fight, and they know it." UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has made an impassioned plea for the U.S. and the World Bank to release billions of dollars of Afghan assets that were frozen after the Taliban takeover in August. Guterres warned Thursday Afghanistan faces economic and social collapse, with some 8.7 million Afghans now teetering on the brink of starvation. He also called on the international community to step up and fund the UN's $5 billion humanitarian appeal.
$5 billion.
Freezing temperatures and frozen assets are a lethal combination for the people of Afghanistan. Rules and conditions that prevent money from being used to save lives and the economy must be suspended in this emergency situation. International funding should be allowed to pay the salaries of public sector workers and to help Afghan institutions deliver healthcare, education, and other vital services.
We'll have more on the crisis in Afghanistan after headlines. Tensions over Russia's military buildup on the Ukraine border remain high after a week of diplomatic talks failed to achieve any concrete resolution to the crisis and to Russia's demands that NATO curb its eastward expansion. Russia said Friday it's giving the U.S. and NATO until next week to respond to its demands. On Thursday, Russia's deputy foreign minister suggested its military could deploy to Venezuela and Cuba in response to escalating tensions with the U.S. Meanwhile, Russian-led troops have started withdrawing from Kazakhstan. A violent crackdown on protests this month killed at least 160 protesters and saw some 10,000 others arrested. Queen Elizabeth has stripped British Royal Prince Andrew of his military titles and royal patronages amidst the ongoing sex assault case against him. Earlier this week, a U.S. judge ruled a sex abuse lawsuit against Andrew can proceed after his lawyers tried to get it dismissed, citing a deal between the plaintiff, Virginia Giuffre, and Jeffrey Epstein. Giuffre has accused Prince Andrew of raping her when she was 17 years old.
God damn.
Australian immigration authorities Novak Djokovic, who has refused to be vaccinated against COVID-19. This comes just 3 days before the start of the Australian Open tennis tournament. An investigation found Djokovic provided false information on the documents he gave to border officials during his entry to Australia last week. He's appealing the decision. Visit our website, democracynow.org, to see our coverage of the plight of refugees in the same immigration detention center in Australia where Djokovic was initially held. New climate data show 2021 was the 6th hottest year on record, with global temperatures rising about 1.5 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial average. This is NOAA, that's National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration scientist Russell Vose.
The last 7 years have been warmer than anything we've seen before. They really sort of stand out. Each of the past 4 decades has been warmer than the decade that preceded it. There's been a steady increase in temperature since at least the 1960s and really since the late 19th century.
At least 25 countries set new annual temperature records last year. Here in New York City, several protesters were arrested Thursday for blocking traffic during a climate rally demanding Governor Kathy Hochul and state lawmakers take action to avert climate catastrophe. Protesters are demanding passage of the New York Build Public Renewables Act. The legislation would combat environmental racism, require the New York...
these people are badass, dude. Anyone who gets arrested for their fucking... something they believe in and shit is pretty fucking badass.
Power authority.
Well, I mean, if it's an actual something worth doing, like somebody who gets arrested for not wanting to wear a mask obviously is fucking stupid, but something like this, like climate change and fucking how it affects climate racism, she said.
The legislation would combat environmental racism, requiring the New York Power Authority to provide only renewable energy and power to customers, and would create tens of thousands of green union jobs. It's been over 3 years since New York lawmakers last approved a major climate bill. And New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy has postponed a key vote on a contract to build a $180 million gas-fired power plant in Newark. Murphy called for a more thorough environmental justice review and robust public engagement process. The governor's decision is being celebrated by community organizers in Newark's Ironbound neighborhood, who warn the power plant would worsen the already poor local air quality and exacerbate the climate crisis. Organizer Maria Lopez Nunez spoke on Democracy Now! Earlier this week.
In our communities, majority Black and Latinx, working class, immigrant community that's deeply affected by the issues. And despite all of our socioeconomic issues, immigration issues, housing issues, we still fight to make sure that we're bettering our neighborhood. You know, we helped build a park along that river. We have a vision for our community, and that's all we're asking for. It's not anything extra. We're just asking for a chance to fight for clean air and clean water.
To see the rest of her interview, go to democracynow.org. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
Amy G. Fuck yeah. They had another video I wanted to watch. It was, well... this one. Coronavirus criminals. Pandemic profiteers hurt the world's response to COVID-19. Let's fucking go.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We end today's show looking at a new book detailing how hundreds of thousands of people died from COVID due to decisions of politicians like Mitch McConnell, pharmaceutical conglomerates, and a cabal of billionaires who exploited the pandemic for political advantage and personal enrichment. The book is titled Coronavirus Criminals and Pandemic Profiteers, Accountability for Those Who Caused the Crisis by the Nation's John Nichols.
Damn, that sounds pretty based. I'd like to read that.
He's joining us now for more. John, welcome back to Democracy Now! Congratulations on the book that's coming out this month. You just listened to Professor Menchik talking about how he's gathering together other, as he calls them, guinea pigs, you know, human guinea pigs, who deeply believe that we had to come up with vaccines and so put their own bodies on the line, but are now seeing that they feel that their bodies were on the line for the profits of the pharmaceutical companies. Can you put this into a larger context?
I'm afraid I can. And first off, thanks for having me, Amy, and thanks for having me as part of this segment in particular, because I think the professor highlighted so much of what is at stake and also what's been happening. What I try to detail in the book and what I've written about a lot over the last 2 years is a painful reality. At the start of the pandemic, back in January and February of 2020, We knew about the shock doctrine. We knew about disaster capitalism. We had learned all of this from Naomi Klein and others. We had a clear picture of it. And yet, as this pandemic played out, we saw all of the worst aspects of disaster capitalism come into play. We saw, first and foremost, corporations and individuals who sought to advance themselves economically and in their share of markets by cashing in on the fear, the concern, the crisis itself. We also saw politicians who aided and abetted this process at virtually every turn. The end result is that there is simply no question that hundreds of thousands of people who died in the United States did not have to die. The Lancet study from around a year ago suggests that roughly 40% of deaths in the first year of the pandemic were unnecessary. Dr. Deborah Birx, who was the White House kind of lead on this issue, has suggested that after the first 100,000 deaths, the deaths that came, in later in 2020, in 2021 and beyond, were exponentially larger or higher than needed. And so we have this core reality that in the United States alone, hundreds of thousands of deaths occurred that did not have to occur.
What's the cause?
It's in the millions. And the U.S. could have played a huge role in addressing that.
So if you could name names, again, we're speaking with John Nichols of The Nation, and his book is coming out now. That's called Coronavirus Criminals and Pandemic Profiteers.
Name some names. Yeah, I'm like, who is he even talking about?
Announced, you write it, the company expected to take $15 billion from vaccine sales during the course of the year. The COVID-19 vaccine now accounting for nearly a quarter of Pfizer's profits.
That's right. And in fact, at the end of the year, it turned out to be much more with Pfizer, Moderna, and other companies. The People's Vaccine Project has estimated that Pfizer, Moderna, and BioNTech are taking in $1,000 a second, $65,000 a minute.
$1,000 a second, dude.
So it's just almost jaw-dropping, the amount of money that they're taking in. This has been a huge benefit to these companies. These vaccines, which were developed with tremendous amounts of assistance from the U.S. government and from multinational, multilateral groupings, have turned out to be their leaders in their profits. They are making overwhelming amounts of money as a result of this, and yet at the same time they are refusing to make their vaccine strategies and approaches available to other countries.
Yeah, that's so fucked up that they won't give the fucking recipe of this vaccine that's saving everybody's lives over to other countries who fucking need it, dude. Fucking greedy pieces of shit.
At every turn to maximize their profits in the United States. And the painful reality here is that there's very little accountability. There's very little efforts by Congress and by watchdogs outside. There are watchdog groups that have done tremendous work, but by federal and state watchdogs that should be involved here to hold these companies to account and to force them to A, make their vaccines more available, and B, to recognize that these excess profits go way beyond the bounds.
I mean, you have, for example, Oxfam saying in 2021, May 2021, so it's beyond that now, COVID vaccines create 9 new billionaires with combined wealth greater than the cost of vaccinating the world's poorest countries. John Nichols, President Biden could force this with Moderna because the U.S.
Damn. Just short of a 9/11. 29K threshold. Still on the rising wave. Dude, I know, man. Fucking and the crazy thing is these motherfuckers, when 9/11 happened, they wouldn't shut the fuck up. 9/11 was fucked up and crazy and shit. But these people, just the same amount of people dying every day from COVID, and they're like, it's fake.
taxpayer
Fake
money
news.
was used to develop the vaccine.
That's exactly right. And in fact, President Biden has certainly done a better
Or they say, it's not a big deal. It's like the flu or what the fuck ever, you know. That's a 99.9. It's like, dude, like 9/11s are happening every fucking day, dude. And they're just like, man, not a big deal.
job than Donald Trump. There's no question of that. But he has not begun to go to the levels that he should, and nor has Congress, on forcing these companies, which took tremendous advantage of the moment, and which frankly got tremendous amounts of support from the U.S. government, literally numbering in the tens of billions of dollars in support and contracts, to show some sort of responsibility. This is not a new concept. In the past, we have had pharmaceutical companies that bent to the reality, either by pressure from government or essentially some sort of moral instinct, that they cannot take these sorts of excess profits in a moment like this. And you did mention also a moment ago billionaires, and it's important to understand that thanks to the work of the Institute for Policy Studies and Americans for Tax Fairness and others, we now know that during the course of this pandemic, billionaires have exponentially increased their wealth. And some of these are
ridiculously
associated with the pharmaceutical industry, but across all industries, to the point where, the number of billionaires increased from, and this is a study from last year, from 614 in the United States to 745.
Damn.
And that their increase in wealth during the course of the year, took them, literally into the trillions of dollars of advanced wealth for these individuals. And again, we just have not.
And they're not paying any taxes on it
John,
either.
we were just showing images. We're showing images of Jeff Bezos. How does he profit?
Oh, Jeff Bezos, who gets a chapter in the book, and the book
that seems obvious
18 chapters, short essays on examples of where people took advantage of or played politics with this crisis, and have not been held to account for that, although perhaps we could say Donald Trump was by his defeat in 2020. But I look at all these individuals, and Bezos is one of them. For Bezos, you've actually highlighted some of the ways in which Bezos took advantage of this.
It is insane, yo. Exactly, man. That's what I was saying, too. Like, it's totally fucking insane. We're having a 9/11, like, every day almost. And these motherfuckers ain't fucking crickets. They ain't saying shit. They're just like, it's not a big deal. But even to this day, they're like, oh my God, 9/11, never forget. And it's like, dude, we're having one every fucking day.
Early on in the pandemic, individuals who worked in Amazon warehouses.
Just the mental gymnastics they have to do to have that worldview is fucking wild, dude.
Who said, look, this is a problem. We have people who are getting sick. We have people whose lives are being put at risk, and there need to be much greater protections. And as you know, some of those individuals were fired simply for raising the alarm. At the same time, there have been unions that have sought to increase protections in Amazon warehouses. Amazon has fought
this motherfucker, dude.
Prevent those unions from coming into and organizing.
Get them out of here.
Warehouses. At the same time, Jeff Bezos' wealth has extended to such an extent that there is now open speculation that he may be the first trillionaire in the United States or in the world. And beyond that, he's shooting himself up into space.
Yeah, I know. He's fucking shooting himself up into space in a giant fucking dick. I wish he would have got stuck up there in Minecraft. I don't know. Fuck. And Minecraft doesn't save you anymore, so I don't know what to do. Yeah, fuck Jeff Bezos.
On personal adventures at a time when frontline workers are still getting sick.
Yeah, there shouldn't even be billionaires, let alone this motherfucker is about to be a fucking trillionaire.
Dying and suffering as a result of the challenges posed by this pandemic.
Can you tell us the story of Michael?
They have the minimum wage, which is not even a living fucking wage, yet they have no maximum wage. Like, these motherfuckers are just... Motherfucker's about to be a goddamn trillionaire, dude. Like, if we're gonna have minimum, why don't we have the fucking maximum then? Because this is just fucking ridiculous.
Jackson, where you begin your book, who is in your home state of Wisconsin.
Sure. In each of the chapters in the book, I try to look at individuals who got sick or died, and to try and explore.
And people would stop fucking over their workers if there was a maximum wage that they could earn. They'd give the excess money to their fucking workers.
All the politics and the profiteering.
People were actually
that,
fucking
went on that might have
making this shit happen,
or at least made things better. And Mike Jackson was a worker at a Briggs and Stratton plant in the Milwaukee area, where they made lawn care products. And he was deemed an essential worker because I guess lawn care was essential. And went to his plant on a regular basis. He had a large family, which he was working hard to support, and he got sick. And instead of having the protections that were needed, first off, before he got sick, I should emphasize that he and others had raised the alarm. And in so many cases, there are frontline workers and workers in vulnerable situations who raised the alarm through their unions or individually, and he wasn't paid attention to. And then when he did get sick, he was escorted out of the plant at one point, but then was back in a couple of days working again. He finally collapsed at his machine, and he ended up dying a few days later. His death was, one of many in that kind of those initial stages of the pandemic. What happened in Milwaukee, though, and what was really encouraging, is that grassroots groups took the example of that death and really highlighted it and made it a part of a movement, a call for workplaces to do much more to protect workers, and frankly, for government to intervene. And if I can just emphasize at this point, there were a lot of protections that went in, emergency protections that went in for frontline workers and workers in manufacturing and other settings. Many of those protections now have fallen away. And so in many cases, we have workers today who don't have the protections that they had in early stages of the pandemic.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
What we need
when we're having like record numbers,
moment,
like over 1 billion cases a day, and they're fucking
where we recognize that people like Mike Jackson probably didn't have to die, and that their deaths should not be in vain. We should have permanent protections for workers.
John Nichols, very quickly, why did you devote a whole chapter to Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law?
Because he did an incredibly lousy job on running the supply chain. And there was a critical moment in which it was clear we didn't have the supplies that we needed. And there were ways in which to get those supplies, to do domestic manufacturing, to do good deals for importation. Instead, Jared Kushner was put in charge of it. It was such a disaster that even back in 2020, just months into his oversight of these supply chain issues, he was under investigation by Congress. They finally folded the program he was involved in because, like just about everything else Jared Kushner touched during the Trump administration, this thing fell apart.
I'm wondering how you respond, and we just have a minute, to arguments that, you're just really an anti-vaxxer. Even the same with Professor Menchik, attacking him as that.
What?
How you can be pro-vaccine, but anti-profiteering.
I thank God for the vaccines. I am double vaccinated and boosted, and if there's another booster coming, I'm going to be first in line to get it. I think these are incredibly vital to saving people's lives at this point and going forward. And the fact of the matter is, I want these vaccines to be available to everyone, not blocked via profiteering and failed government policies.
Yeah,
I want them available to everyone in the United States and around the world.
Yeah,
and I
other
know
countries.
from doing this book that is possible.
Yep.
John Nichols, I want to thank you for being with us, the nation's national affairs correspondent. His new book coming out later this
All right. Oh, new book. Let's
month.
do this.
Coronavirus.
It's the same book. Okay. Yo, it's just so fucked up, man. It's so fucked that they won't give the recipe to other countries so that they can help their people and fucking, get the vaccine. People can get the fucking shot, man. Fuck. Spilly, you got anything to say on that? Ah, yes. Very true, Spilly. Whoops. I forgot. We're supposed to be down here now. Alright, we're just gonna move right along because I've been wanting to... I'm just basically watching videos that I've been wanting to watch on stream for a minute. Well, not those... dude, I'm baked. Fuck. I've been wanting to watch this video for a minute. Fascism on the rise.
And others like it are made possible by the generous support of my patrons on Patreon. We just did a major overhaul of our patrons only Discord server. So if you'd like to join our growing community and get early access to every video, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/secondthought.
I'm all like fucking...
Of course you do. Remember, it was the day Antifa did everything Trump supporters had said they would be doing for months. Did it exactly the way they'd been planning and telling all their friends they'd be doing it in online forums. Did the whole thing while wearing MAGA shirts, waving Confederate flags, and having the names and faces of long-standing Republican voters grafted onto their own, Mission Impossible style. And then Antifa chivalrously took none of the credit for it. What a memorable time in American history that was. It's been almost a year, or exactly 1 year, or just a little more than 1 year. I don't know. I'm writing this in December.
Yeah, you know, because of course Antifa, we would want to put the fucking fascist back in office. We love fascism.
Let's just say it's been about a year since the weirdest day in recent American history, and in the meantime, things haven't been super fun. The far right seems like it's continuing to grow in power and in influence under the Biden admin. And in this episode, we're going to be looking at that a little more closely, because it is a troubling omen for the future of politics in this country. Let's get started. The first thing I should address is the title of the video, the idea that fascism is on the rise in the US. That's a pretty obvious statement for most people, and likely even more so for the audience I have on this channel. Fascism has been on the rise for a while, so much so that it's made that very statement the topic of countless op-eds. And not too long ago, the most powerful government seat in the world was filled by the unwitting culmination of that trend. For 4 years, the United States was ruled by a man who repeatedly parroted fascist narratives, cozied up to white supremacist organizations, and used armed forces and a militarized police to quash anti-fascist protest movements.
That motherfucker, dude, I remember the day that this happened, where he fucking... Dude, he gassed all the BLM protesters so he could fucking go over to this fucking church, hold the fucking Bible. You can't even tell it's a fucking Bible. It's got it doesn't even say anything on it. Hold the fucking Bible up. He fucking accidentally gassed the preacher of the fucking church when he did this too. That was the fucking best part. Yeah, Reverend Robert Fisher, I think. Fucking gassed his ass, just gassed their fucking ass, dude. For this fucking photo op. Like, I was like literally fucking triggered that day.
Those are just some of the many other telltale signs of fascism. There are just so many. I'm not going to spend more time on this already tired argument of whether Trump is a fascist, proto-fascist, a neo-fascist, or not a fascist at all, don't worry about it, because you've had over 4 years of that and we're all sick of it. This video is about how the US as a whole is getting fascister, even more fascisty, how America is doing big fash. But just so it's out of the way, I'm going to be using the same definition of fascism I've used before, palingenetic ultranationalism. Palingenetic meaning a belief in and a desire for the violent rebirth of a nation to overcome a period of moral decay, and ultranationalism meaning an overwhelming loyalty to a perverted vision of one's country, often laced with bigotry and racism. There is more to fascism than that, and it varies by the culture in which it appears, but since we're talking about big trends in our common discourse, defining fascism by its core ideology like this is actually pretty useful. So, with all that in mind, let's go back to January 6th. That day was a real turning point for the American far right, particularly in the months that followed it. On the one hand, it was the first time in several years that crackdowns had targeted white nationalists and their friends so aggressively. As I'm writing this, over 700 people have been arrested and charged for the acts committed on the day of the riots, and several trials are ongoing to identify central figures and prosecute them.
The fucking dude
Like the Proud
dressed up
Boys,
like
who were
fucking
involved in the event and reached superstar status in 2020 after
like
visiting
Arthur
this
from
movie.
Ghosts and Goblins.
Stand back and stand by, but I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do
Yeah,
something
boy,
about
stand
Antifa
back.
and the left because this is not a
These
Yeah.
groups started to lose members in 2021. Whether it was because of mass deplatforming from Parler and other online cesspools for the far right, or because the group splintered after leader Enrique Tarrio was outed as an FBI informant.
Yeah.
Proud Boys and groups like
Motherfucker
them
was an FBI informant.
could not and did not build the same sized audience on Telegram
Oh,
as they had
God.
achieved just a year earlier on other platforms. But that seemingly downward trend is a very small part of the story. Not only have public shows of force by the far right increased, not only do
Look at
already
these
white supremacist
motherfuckers,
police
man.
forces get infiltrated
Kyle's,
by
oh
even
my
more
god,
extremist group
dude.
members, the overall trajectory of the far right movement in
Dude, these people are such pieces of shit, dude. They had that fucking cow lives matter. Wow. Fucking goddamn. They started a podcast, my two favorite tanky channels. Genuinely surprised, most nuanced political YouTuber. Yo, Second Thought is like my favorite YouTuber right now. Like, they've been for a while, but yeah, they're fucking great. Yeah, I haven't got to check out the podcast yet. I gotta check that shit out.
infiltrated by even more extremist group members, the overall trajectory of the far-right movement in the US in general has been growth, massive growth. And the reason the far-right has grown so much is because it has successfully coalesced under a few key narratives that it has been able to mainstream in greater American political culture. The Proud Boys may not be what they used to, but it's because the American right as a whole has taken their place. Take a look at this clip, taken from a community meeting in Shasta County, California.
Ron Fopowski. I follow that dude on Twitter.
But it's not going to be peaceful much longer.
Oh, God.
And this isn't a threat. I'm not a criminal. I've never been a criminal.
Bro, really?
Good citizens are going to turn to
Not a threat?
and revolutionary citizens real soon.
Wow.
Nobody else is going to say that. I'm probably the only person that has the balls to say what I'm saying.
Let's have the
We're
ball.
building, we're organizing, and we'll work with law enforcement or without law enforcement. But you won't stop us when time comes because our families are starving.
Yeah. You know why? Your family is fucking starving? I'll give you a hint. It's called motherfucking... Starts with a C and ends with a fucking capitalism.
Absolutely listen to what I'm saying. Because this is a warning for what's coming. It's not going to be peaceful much longer. It's not going to be rah-rah. It's not going to be speeches. It's not going to be gathered outside saying Pledge of Allegiance. It's not going to be waving flags. It's going to be real.
Just us fucking socialists and commies are trying to fucking... Give your family food so they're not fucking starving. Give everybody's family fucking food. And clean drinking water. And healthcare. And the other shit, too.
I went to war for this country. I've seen
Shelter.
the ugliest, dirtiest part of humanity. I've been in combat.
Yeah, I bet.
I never want to go back again. But
Ugliest, dirtiest part of humanity. Yeah, because you're part of, like, the fucking Proud Boys, so you pretty much live in it.
I'm telling you what, I will to save this country. If it has to be against our own citizens, it will happen. And there's a million people like me, and you won't stop us.
Million people like me.
Let our citizens do what they need to do.
Unfortunately, there probably fucking is. Huh.
Let owners of businesses do what they need to do to feed their families. Take the masks off.
That's a pretty troubling discourse, and
Want to feed your fucking family? Advocate for socialism.
as tempting as it might be to see this as a brief insight into a small movement, there's good evidence that the man in the video is just the most vocal part of the new American right. There's good evidence these beliefs aren't limited to militias with goofy names. They're an integral part of the conservative mob. Just take this statistic from the GWU Program on Extremism. Only around 13% of those charged in the Capitol riots were formal members of militant groups like the Proud Boys, the 3%ers, and the Oath Keepers. The remaining 87% were a mix of typical Trump supporters and independent far-right extremists, there with their friends and family or lone attendees defined as inspired believers. That means most people who breached the Capitol were just average Republicans. And you can tell, these rioters just don't look like the
motherfucker taking a selfie.
With around 2/3 being over 35 years old, much
imagine if you're like
unemployed, and a full
fucking that'd be like equivalent to like fucking robbing a store and like taking a selfie while you're doing it or some shit. Taking a selfie while you're fucking committing crimes. Amazing.
14% of the attendees charged were business owners, and 30% were white-collar workers. These are not the typical far-right extremist demographics. These are just Republican constituency demographics.
Just
All that
chuds.
to say that the mainstream Republican Party has not only swept the violent far-right under its wing,
Regular
it is
old
comfortable
chuds.
embodying it itself. Okay, how did this happen? What are the narratives that have made their way out of smaller far-right cells and into common right-wing discourse? There are some you're probably already expecting, like the belief the election was stolen. That is a big one, and around 60% of the Republican Party does hold that to be true.
That's fucking
To be fair,
crazy.
Trump spent months, and at this point over a year, hitting them over the head with that one, so it might not be the best example of a small group's narrative making it big. A more concrete example of that phenomenon is the QAnon conspiracy. 1 in 4 Republicans buy into the QAnon conspiracy.
1 in 4. And
cannibalistic, blood-sucking
it was just like a 4chan troll.
People have looked into the movement's anti-Semitic
And QAnon started as like a 4chan troll or some shit, right?
tropes and its close proximity to neo-Nazi and white supremacist groups.
They're trolling
We'll
these
spend
people.
more time on it here. But there's that. 25%. The more unexpected narrative making waves and bringing back that classic fascist flavor to the Republican Party is the Great Replacement theory. By the way, this is probably a good time to mention this video definitely isn't making it through the algorithm. So if you feel inclined, my Patreon is in the description. Anyway, the Great Replacement theory is a classic among neo-fascists, and it's pretty clear why. Put to paper in 2012 by French writer Renaud Camus. Nope, wrong Camus. This is the guy. The Great Replacement asserts that there is a plot, which really means they think it's a Jewish thing, that the white race and white culture, whatever that is disappearing.
If they it's funny because they're so close. It's not the fucking Jews. It's the capitalists, dude. It's so fucking obvious. Like, it's not the cabal or the Illuminati or the fucking baby eating Democrats or whatever. It's a fucking capitalism, dude.
From majority non-white countries.
They just wouldn't realize that's what's fucking them every day. In the ass. With a stick, not in a good way, fucking sideways. Yeah, that's the capitalism penis in your ass.
White people. Because, of course, they can't imagine the world being run any differently than with one race subjugating another. Why?
It's a big red, white, and blue fucking dildo.
While at the same time believing wholeheartedly that racism ended with Obama. In any case, this is the theory that motivated the Christchurch shooter Brenton Tarrant and the El Paso shooter Patrick Crusius. And it's a big wet pile of fascist garbage that has, unsurprisingly, historical trajectory going straight from World War II through the American Nazi Party, Europe's own fascist politicians, and has now found a home among a substantial chunk of the Republican electorate. Here's a clip of Tucker Carlson endorsing the theory on Fox, calling it by name and likening it to eugenics.
An unrelenting stream of immigration. But why? Well, Joe Biden just said it. To change the racial mix of the country. That's the reason. To raise the political power of people whose ancestors lived here and dramatically increase the proportion of Americans newly arrived from the third world.
What a piece
Then
of
Biden
shit.
went further. He said that non-white DNA is the, quote, source of our strength. Imagine saying
It is.
This is the language of eugenics.
Diversity is the one fucking good thing about America. It's like the one thing that's like good.
And Biden said it. In political terms, this policy is called the Great Replacement, the replacement of legacy Americans with more obedient people.
Legacy Americans. The fuck? These motherfuckers call themselves... You gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. Oh. Fucking legacy Americans. The fuck out of here with that shit, dude. Then what? Then if the European motherfuckers are the legacy Americans, then Then what are the Native Americans? There would be even a higher rank then, right? That's so fucking stupid, dude.
They brag about it all the time.
Brag
If you
of-
dare to say it's happening, they will scream at you with maximum hysteria.
That is America's most watched conservative.
Yeah, because you're doing a white
passionate
supremacist talking point right now, dude. That's why people are like, yo, you're fucking racist when you say that.
On primetime TV. But what does this have to do with January 6th? According to UChicago professor Robert Papp, between 4 and 8%, or around 21 million Americans at the high end, believe both 1, that the election was stolen, and that 2, Trump should be reinstated by force. Of that group, 63% believe in the Great Replacement theory, almost 10% more than believe in QAnon, whose flags we saw waved throughout the crowd on January 6th and at every Trump rally for over a year. Let me say that again. More people in that crowd hold a deeply fascist belief than believe in the other slightly more wacky letter of the alphabet-based fascist belief. And we know that the Q crowd was a big part of the Trump fan base to start off with because they're just so open about it. The Great Replacement crowd is just not waving as many flags. It is 18 more letters than a big Q, though. Anyway, more than just getting some demographic information, Papp was able to estimate that, among all other motivations, a belief in the Great Replacement was the most significant trigger that turned people already convinced that the election was stolen into people who believed that they should engage in insurrectionist violence to reinstate Trump.
Seriously, dude. Fucking legacy Americans. I cannot believe this shit. Like, I can fucking believe it, but, like, it's just so...
Trump. In other words, the belief that white people are being replaced is
beta-tested Americans, yeah.
For its perpetrators. And with these narratives making their way to the most watched conservative TV show and to regular conservative conferences since January 6th, we might be in for an even worse time going forward. But the QAnon and Great Replacement stuff isn't the whole picture. In the last year, opposition to vaccine and mask mandates have functioned in much the same way, rallying together the various strands of the American far right to the somewhat more moderate Republican base, and infusing a more authoritarian tone into
Stand up for your
the
rights.
idea that the whole pandemic is some sort of hoax,
I
just
wanna
like
wear a
they want the
mask.
election to be, has invited fascist
No
extremists
mandates.
into what we recently called
Stop the
mainstream
mandatory
currents of republicanism,
vaccine.
who brought with them their horrifying views of what politics should be. Fascists, and more generally awful far-right extremists, are welcomed into the Republican fold.
Yeah. All you have to do is be a reprehensible, horrible piece of shit, and they're like, you should run for Senate.
Video, I want to be careful that it doesn't seem like this is something new. It's certainly very bad, much more explicit today than it...
Like the people, the guy who fucking pulled out the guns and stood outside his fucking mansion pointing guns at the BLM protesters. That motherfucker's running for Senate right now or some shit.
It's been in years, and tainted with a much more military and violent shade than before. But fascism in this country has existed in some way for decades, if not centuries. The conservative wing of the American political establishment,
His name
joined in its mission by the more progressive wing with only
McCloskey or something.
has found in its electorate enough political will to push forward nationalism, xenophobia, racism, and the glorification of white religious culture, at the very least since the Reagan era. And this country as a whole has engaged in genocidal racial violence for the majority of its history. It has always embraced more authoritarian, less democratic rule. It has always glorified its hegemonic role in the international sphere. It has always, in part or in whole, condoned its national project against racial and religious minorities and against every political movement to its left. The Capitol riots, Charlottesville a couple years ago, moments like these were significant. They were marks of the change in fascism's presentation. But by no means were they catalysts of fascism or flukes we can easily ignore. Because even if we understand the kinds of narratives that bring fascist ideology into a more prominent role today, those narratives are still just the last step before mainstream acceptance. Their emergence in far-right cells and compatibility with the greater conservative currents had to come from somewhere, and they did. Today, fascism has been driven to its current apex not by those narratives alone, but by the failures of the neoliberal era. Failures that have been building for decades and that have laid a fertile ground for fascism to take root. The economic insecurity that has fallen on more and more shoulders, the general decline of unionized labor, the disappearance of jobs that entire cities were built on, and the increasing pace of economic crises have resulted in a particularly unstable system that fewer and fewer people have faith in. That has opened up the space for opportunistic figures all too happy to make sure the capitalist economy endures, even if it means a descent into authoritarian ultranationalism. Figures who have tried to portray moments like the Trump presidency as a departure from what brought us here in the first place, when it was really just a natural next step for a fragile, crisis-ridden capitalist economy. That's so dumb. That makes no sense. How could that be? That's you. That's what you're saying right now. I can hear you. I can see you. I know you're confused. If only you had an ongoing 12-part series on fascism and its modern forms to help you understand it better. Oh, wait, you do. You can watch the first episode of my series, The New F Word, on Nebula. We're working on the next episode
F
as we
word.
speak, so stay tuned for that. I'm really proud of what we've produced so far. In the meantime, if you'd like to help support content like this and my very time-consuming fascism series...
My very time-consuming fascism series. Yeah. It's good shit. What do you think about that, Spilly? Yep. What if I can... I don't know how to do that. Let's just create a poll. Custom emojis? Oh. I wonder if I can make custom fucking emojis for this channel. I know people do that, but... I don't know. I don't know how to do that. Shit. Alright. Fuck. Fuck. I can't get the fucking... Okay. There we go. All right. What else did I had some other shit too. Yeah, I've already seen all this shit. I don't know. I only came in this wanting to watch those videos I watched, so I don't know what to do now. Let's see if anything's on fucking... Look at my Twitter feed, see if anything interesting is going on. I might just fucking do speedruns or something. I kind of... Oh. No. I'll probably do this for Sunday service, but let's have a fucking preview. See what our old buddy, Silly Ray Cyrus, aka Robin fucking Bullock, self-proclaimed prophet, Looks like he's playing a motherfucking guitar. Let's see what's going on here.
Like this, hunting your arm. Oh yeah, thinking they're going, oh yeah, we got this for your own good. Don't stick it in ours, but we'll put it in yours. No.
Talking about the vaccine?
And we start to call the effects in that thing.
Was he speaking in tongues?
We start to call it right now of no potency whatsoever. It loses its strength, and there's such an overwhelming wave of health that's coming to America and the nations of the world because of you praying, because of God's people praying.
Yo, he's trying to pray the fucking effects of the vaccine away. Yo, we need to pray to stop the vaccine from saving our lives. We want it to kill us.
We call for such an overwhelming tsunami wave of healing and health that everything within
they want the vaccine to not work so the COVID kills
that
them.
little thing they're trying to stick in your trying to come around and find your arm. Show me your flesh. Forget the flesh, Jack. I'm in the spirit.
Jack.
In the name of Jesus, I call that sin
Listen, Jack.
null and void.
What the fuck? Well, that was amazing. His it's like Fauci owned somebody else. We saw he owned Rand Paul the other day. Guess maybe he owns this guy too. I don't know.
Fauci, according to Forbes,
Hail Fauci!
You have an annual salary in 2020 was $434,000. You oversee over $5 billion in federal research grants. As the highest paid employee in the entire federal government, yes or no, would you like to submit to Congress and the public a financial disclosure that includes your past and current investments? After all, your colleague, Dr. Walensky, and every member of Congress submits a financial disclosure that includes their investments.
Can't hear his fucking mic, dude. The mic's not up. There you go.
I don't understand why you're asking me that question. My financial disclosure is public knowledge and has been so for the last 37 years or so. 35 years that I've been
The
direct.
big tech giants are doing an incredible job of keeping it from being public. We'll continue to look for it. Where would we find it?
All you have to do is ask for it. You're so misinformed. It's extraordinary.
Why am I misinformed? This is
Got
a
him.
huge issue. Wouldn't you agree with me that you see things before members of Congress would see them, so that there's an air of appearance that maybe some shenanigans are going on? You know,
Shenanigans!
That's not the case.
What are you talking
It's not
about?
the case.
My financial disclosures are public knowledge and have been so. You are getting amazingly wrong information.
So I cannot find them. Our office cannot find them. Where would they be if they're public knowledge? Where?
It is totally accessible to you if you want it.
For the public. Is it accessible to the public?
To the public.
Great. We look forward to reviewing.
You are totally incorrect.
Well, we look forward to reviewing it.
Senator Marshall, Dr. Fauci has answered you. It is public information, and he's happy to give it to you if you would ask.
What a fucking dumbass, dude. Holy shit. These fucking people
You have an annual salary
are so fucking stupid. How? How are people this fucking stupid in like one of the highest offices? Oath keepers straight and standing ready. What? Uh-oh. Nick Fuentes. What the fuck is he up to? Oh, no. Wait, Nick Fuentes declares that... Nick Fuentes declares that groypers are the only ones that aren't racist. Before mocking Steve Bannon, a fat artard who was trying to flood the zone with N-word vote. Jeez. After dropping the N-word, Fuentes enough. That slipped out. Wow. I don't know if I should play this on here. Ah, this is YouTube. I think I can get away.
We're the only ones that aren't racist. We're the only ones, ironically, and I know this is going to come across in a certain way.
Oh, God.
But the irony is, people accuse us of hating black people.
Booger eating Nick Fuentes. Yeah, you do. Dude. You and your crew are white supremacists.
And we're the only ones that treat black people with, like, actual respect, honestly.
Oh, yeah?
Enough to tell them, hey, stop committing crimes.
What? Oh, God, dude. There we go. Dude, just stop committing crimes. Yeah. Big brain take there.
Stop being so illiterate in schools. And when they're cool, we're just cool with them. You know, they're just human beings to us. They're just real human beings. We
Really?
stand for real human beings, truly. But we also stand for whites. Anyway, so
wow.
that's sort of an aside, but it is a little bit...
Wow. And
this
we
is
also
Bannon.
stand.
This is Getter. Getter is run by Bannon.
Self-report.
And Bannon is the fat retard that goes on these shows and says, we're going to have African Americans voting 50% for Republicans, and we're going to flood the zone with nigger votes.
What the
like, literally goes on these shows and says that. That one slipped out.
Yeah. Fucking just slipped out, y'all. It was an accident. Alright, fuck. Damn, there's a lot of shit going on. Honestly, I've fucking had enough of politics today. I might restart and just do a speed run stream. I got a little bit of time left before I have to get ready to go. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna totally restart the fucking stream. Oh, damn, there's a lot of good shit in my feed right now, but I don't know if I'll get to it if I don't cover it right now. Let's see. Soulless Coward. Hold up. Blah. Bernie 2020 campaign co-chair. Yeah, okay. Nina Turner goes off. Alright, fuck. Let's look at this.
Not one quote from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
Hold on.
Not one.
I missed it.
They better not utter not one quote from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Not one. Or any of his colleagues and contemporaries as we come up on his birthday on Saturday and the national celebration on Monday. These people are cowards. They are soulless cowards to hold up a daggone rule. Filibuster is a rule. It's not written in the Constitution. It's not a right. It is a rule. And they're standing in the way of it. So this is nonsense. They worried about what the Republicans going to do. Let's take care of 2022. Let's do what Democrats can do right now. They have the power. And my message to President Biden. Now, he done wasted a whole bunch of time with these folks. Being diplomatic, inviting them out to the White House.
True.
Time out for it. He needs to hold a press conference. Let them know. Either you're going to be by my side saying you're going to be with me and getting rid of the filibuster, or I'm gassing up the jet on your behind, and I will be in Arizona and West Virginia directly and let the American people know who's standing in the way of my entire agenda, not just voting rights. So President Biden, gas up the jet and cancel student debt.
Boom! Fucking Biden owned, dude. That was okay. I'm glad I looked at that one. Fucking Nina Turner is just fucking badass, dude.
He better not.
All right, let's see what Biden has to say for himself over here. After he just got totally fucking owned.
Is there a path forward, Mr. President? Mr. President, Senator Schumer is opposed to filibuster reform. Can you get this done?
subject like, can you get this done? I hope we can get this done. The honest to God answer is, I don't know whether we can get this done. One thing for certain, like every other civil rights bill that came along, if we missed the first time, we could come back and try the second time. We missed this time. And the state legislative bodies continue to change the law, not as to who can vote, who gets to count the vote. Count the vote. Count the vote. It's about election subversion, not just whether or not people get to vote.
It matters whether or not people get the vote, dude. What?
As long as I have a breath in me, as long as I'm in the White House, as long as I'm engaged at all, I could be fighting to change the way these legislatures have moved.
Yeah. Well, then stop with your fucking bipartisan bullshit, dude. Because the other side's just a bunch of fucking psychos. You can't work with them, dude. Alright, let's see what these assholes got to fucking say at Fox News.
Well, I think Joe Biden and the Democrats are frustrated that they can't remake the American political system, so they never have to relinquish.
Remake?
That's what today's debate is really about.
What?
They want to destroy the Senate rules and customs, not so they can say raise your taxes or they can confiscate your guns, or they would do those things.
So
they can do things like federalize.
Yeah, if you're rich, they're gonna fucking raise your taxes. You probably are some rich douchebag, so yeah, maybe you, not the average working class fucking person. Also, no one wants your fucking stupid guns, you absolute fucking buffoon.
Our elections and take over the way elections are conducted in all 50 states. Make Washington, D.C. a state so we get 2 Democratic senators in perpetuity. Pack our courts to include the Supreme Court. That's...
Yeah.
I think Joe Biden and the Democrats...
Okay. Oh, I had a feeling that was gonna be moronic. He's moronic. He's moronic. Get a Brian, you moron. Oh, this guy. This guy's from the Oath Keepers, right? What's he doing? Let's see, Spilly.
What we're doing is we have men already stationed outside D.C. as a nuclear option in case they attempt to remove the president illegally. We will step in and stop it. And we're going to be there to
remove the president illegally.
The coming rally this Saturday and your caravan coming in.
Oh, so this was right before January 6th. He made this fucking video, apparently.
We have good men on the ground already. We've been doing recon there.
I was on InfoWars, too.
We're sorting out where we're going to be staging, and we'll be there. We'll be inside D.C. We'll also be on the outside of D.C. armed, prepared to go in if the president calls us out.
If the president called. I mean, he kind of did. He did go. He was like, we're going to go down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. You can't take your country back with weakness. You got to be strong, or you're not going to have a country anymore. I mean, so I guess he did literally call them to action. We already saw Joe Rogan get owned on his own fucking show. I think that's about it for this shit. We only went not even an hour and a fucking half. What are we gonna do? I'll play some video games, but I need to change my fucking stream name, and I don't know how the fuck to do that. So I'm probably gonna end the stream and then just restart, and I might do some speed runs of Che Guevara, the Che Guevara video game, or just the normal shit. Chip and Dale, fucking, I don't know. I want to do something. Maybe I'll do a speedrun I haven't done in a while. Oh, Maniac Mansion I haven't done in a while. I probably don't even remember how to fucking do it at this point. Yeah, I might need to practice that one before I fuck around on here with that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we're gonna peace out and come right back and play some fucking video games. What are we gonna peace out to? Fucking. You know what? Let's peace out to some old school fucking shit. Or we could do some USA whole music. Why does that one always come up? That's a weird one. I haven't heard those songs in a long time. I don't remember what they even fucking sound like. Pretty long song. Alright, we'll do this one. Alright, fuck it. I'm gonna peace out and be right the fuck back. We did a long politics stream earlier. We covered everything. I don't got anything else, so we just going to roll the fuck on and come back with some fucking speed runs or some shit. Alright, so until next time, motherfucking trans rights, MB gang rise up, fuck the police, fuck 12, fuck the chuds, ACAB, 1312, Black Lives Matter, fucking Dark Gang, and love. Alright, cuties. I'm peacing out.